Good afternoon. It is afternoon. It's 2:30. I cannot believe how late it is in the day. I feel like I've not accomplished much, but I have. I think for the first time, people are coming to the realization that the things I'm telling are true. I hope anyway. Here's an hour of truth. I tried to use my screen mirror and was unable to do so. So I am using an alternative. We're going to watch on a small screen today. What is a big deal? So, without further ado, may I give to you the story of the neighborhood?
People have fucked with my property, altering it, and basically turning my experience of living into a goddamn fun house at a carnival. And then using my reaction to it being different to claim I'm mentally ill. I discovered this morning as I was taking the leaf out from between the rocks. I think it is more than simply decomposed and decomposing matter. I think it's something different. I'm going to leave the camera there so that we can see if it in fact changes. I'm standing far away from the phone, so I cannot be touching it or moving it. And I'm standing about 15 feet away because people won't believe me when I say camera angle changes. I don't know if it changed or not because I wasn't watching the phone, but chances are it did. If it didn't, you're just going to have to trust me because I tell the truth. I've told nothing but truth, and people have not believed me. I don't know what your problem is, but you need to change your belief today. This man was brought here by this woman years ago. Over a suspicion that I was a drug dealer because of something she overheard. am not. And the police know that. But they've chosen to target me and discriminate against me and are allowing neighbors to do it. Morning. The previous owner over here at this property, Jason Ferris, and his wife Abby are aware of the truth and caused a hospitalization April 17th, 2019, with a lie. The lie was, I was, quote, witnessed in my front yard with a megaphone accusing neighbors of doing things. It was at 4:44 p.m. that the document was created. I was up in Delaware purchasing my cat, my kitten, Asha. When I arrived home, police and Netcare were right here, standing. The creative writer, also known as social worker from Netcare, went to the vehicle and phoned her supervisor. So I didn't hear the conversation. And she came back and she said, I was required to go in for a mental health evaluation. It was my second in my life. And that event spawned other neighbors to lie to authorities to get me hospitalized unnecessarily because they were told it's a way to get me to move by, I believe, this man. All this trouble started when I had a tenant, Ryan DeLaw, who this man, Bill, denies knowing. I've asked him for over 2 years, what did he say to you about me? And he's ignored me. That's after I found him here in my backyard, trespassing. He's never apologized. And I don't know what the hell he was doing there. But I believe it has to do with over here. Because they brought a technology to the neighborhood to harass and stalk me that's military owned. That's alien. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But it all started with a barbecue and hate speech, which came from here, from a wife who didn't want to use their yard to harass, so they used here. There were maybe 6, 7 guests at the barbecue. And 2 women from here attended the barbecue, where for 2.5 hours, I heard, that faggot, that whore, look at this video. She says she wasn't there at the barbecue last month to me. So police choose not to know all these details, thinking they're protecting neighbors. And they reject all my reports and choose to discriminate against me because of the disease of addiction and a past history of drug use. There is illegal surveillance of me occurring daily. In fact, every moment of every day. And then there's other cyber surveillance occurring too. And that happens every day. The reason I think that there's a connection between here and here is because Steve, the previous owner, had just painted his house the shade blue that he wanted. And he had some panels painted different blue and asked me which one I thought was nice. And I don't know if he went with it or not. The point is, he painted it the shade he wanted. And then the following week told me that he was moving. The house was not for sale. And there's no sign in the front yard. So, that's how I think the connection is made. And I think I'm correct. The reason why I believe a video was made and suddenly disappeared and nobody can verify whether there's a video or not is because it happened watching here, the only window on the second floor where you can be viewed from here, but not here because of trees. When I met Bill's wife for the first time in the alley, a year or a couple of years after they were living there, I put out my hand to shake hers. The other neighbor that was present, I shook her hand, and Bill's wife jumped backwards and drew her hands in towards herself. I told here that I'm having problems with the neighbors behind me. The very next morning, having coffee in my backyard, I hear ding, 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 ding. Somebody was walking their dog. It was Patty Ryan. I watched her walk down the alley. From here. And they went in, and she went into here. And I believe it was the beginning of a witch hunt based in homosexuality, but cleverly disguised as drugs, which got a whole bunch of people involved. And she keeps it up every day. like an addict trying to get what she wants. Because it all started here. On a public street where there is parking. She explained to me that she does not want people parking in front of her house. You'll notice a sign here. I do not have a sign on my property, but there's a sign here. And another sign here. Knowing signs means arrow continues. Therefore, between here and here, where there's another arrow, means here you cannot park. The law is after 72 hours. You can have somebody's tires chalked for towing, which is exactly what happened here. My boyfriend at the time, Michael Bova, and I went out to the curb where Patty was here in the yard. We confronted her, and a couple words were exchanged, not many. And he said, "You're a bitch." Her reply was, "I can be." I explained to her that I'm not going to have my guests park down there or down there when I live here. And they will occasionally park here. And maybe sometimes here, because it's closer. Because I worked early and needed to get out of here. So having a boyfriend who was not ready to leave at 6:30 in the morning or get up out of bed meant he's going to park here. And she would just have to live with it. Eight years, can you believe it, of my life has been wasted trying to get here to leave me alone and to stop harassing and stalking with full police support because of something she was told. From a man who was familiar with here. Because he told me in June 2019 when he visited, pretending to be the Secret Service, that they were going to leave him alone. His license plate is HLO 9533. Because I said strange lights are coming out of there. They said that they were going to go talk with some other neighbors Guess where they went? Here. I do not know, only she would know, when she was told or when she realized that the men were not from the Secret Service at all. But they continued a relationship for 3.5 years that probably still occurs to this day via phone call or text. This summer, he was on the front porch of here and said, "Look at him. Just look at him." I was picking up leaves out of my yard. Here. I reported it to the police, and I drew the connection for them, but they rejected the report, like they do all my reports. I was here in my yard when I heard a retelling of what happened in June 2019. Because in that backyard, I heard we told her we followed him back to Ohio, which is exactly what Patty honestly said to the police in a 911 recording, complaining about me. I pulled into my driveway from here and parked here under the big tree were 2 late model used cars, one brown, one blue, one African American, one Caucasian. HLL 9533 is the one. And they were both sitting in their separate cars. They walked up my driveway, and we had that conversation I just told you about. Right here. As they walked away, he said, "You should see a psychologist," which is nothing that a representative of government would ever tell a citizen, because it's against the law, actually. You're not allowed to give medical advice unless you're a medical professional. And somebody with the Secret Service would know that. They would. They're well trained. So it would be impossible for somebody to follow me back 413 miles from DC, which, if you check his debit or credit charges in June 2019, I bet you DC is not any of the charges, because they live here in Central Ohio. The statement about a psychologist was a person telling on themselves, because we are born to only tell the truth. So even when we lie, the truth comes out. He knew about my targeting with remote neural monitoring and an effort to claim I'm mentally ill. And he shared with Patty, I believe, but she hasn't told me this, that I had a severe mental illness. I only had one hospitalization prior to that visit. So, how do you have a severe mental illness if you only have one hospitalization, which was caused by my doctor just weeks earlier? And that happened because I went in hearing V2K of sirens as I was driving around town, and there were vehicles that were following me. So it was combining the imagined, which is actually real, with the real, which is a strategy of here. So Patty has shared information with the police that she says comes from the government. Her statements come from the man who was an imposter, and I believe, though she hasn't told me this, that he told her, if you follow my instructions, I'll get him to move. I've now been hospitalized 25 times in the last 6 years. And I think here supported an idea that I'm mentally ill and spread that around the neighborhood. I hope not claiming he was from the government, because I don't think he is. But only here would know where he came from, because she was responsible for him moving here. Over the course of the last 8 years, there's been intense stalking from all around my property. And neighbors have opened up their homes and property to this group stalking me and harassing me. I shared with neighbors one summer, check IDs, check IDs. I don't think they did. What I think happened is somebody either formed and created a private security company that was given access to remote neural monitoring. And that company is the ones following me around and pretending they're the government. They would be affiliated or subcontracted with the government. So the words that they say don't quite come from the government. They come from a private security company, which is illegally surveillancing me and delivering microwaves to my head, where I will develop brain cancer. They're afraid to come forward and do the right thing. Patty is afraid of getting in trouble with the police if she's honest and tells the truth about knowing that HLO 9533 is not with the government, because she has kept up the lie and continued to spread things supposedly from the government. You're probably wondering how I know all this. Well, as the victim of everything, I experience it all. And everything is happening all around me. And being in the right place at the right time has been really important. And I use my intuition, and answers fall into my lap. I wrote a letter to neighbors and police I've interacted with and asked for specific answers of things and been denied the truth. There's a woman who stalked me up in Delaware the week before, or the Sunday before July 14th, 2022. She has a dog that's kind of squatty and brown and looks maybe like a pit bull. And I asked her yesterday, I said, I don't know you, but I need to know why you were stalking me up in Delaware. She denied it. I sat for 45 minutes in a brick circular patio, writing in my journal, which is now 13 volumes, trying to get my rights restored. And she stood in between two university buildings texting. Her phone records will verify that I'm correct. Her Google location history will verify she was there. I don't know how people can lie to my face time and time and time again. They're lying to get what they want. And maybe sickly been told to lie to me. And even sicker, that it's a game. My life is not a game. It's not a movie, but I'm going to make it one where I win. Because I stand behind the Constitution with my civil rights. I also stand behind property law and God's creation is what I'm defending. You see, God made us human with human capabilities. We are not to have extra human capabilities. We have things like telescopes or other tools that we can use. And the government has decided that a tool it's going to use is somebody else's brain and their brainwave activity. Guess what? That's called invasion of privacy because my body is mine. And government has no right to it. Tell me I'm wrong. So I think that the security company got a grant and has been given money to catch illegally using the program a criminal, or who they say is a criminal, even though I only have one DUI. That's my entire criminal history. People amazingly have the ability of being believed with lies they tell. And I, the only person telling truth, is not believed of everything. I think that it's a curse or spell put on me, which could come from the government because they do satanic worship at the highest level. The exposure of this surveillance weapon, which is a military grade weapon in the hands of executive branch entities like the NSA, like the CIA, like the FBI, like the DHS, where they are catching, quote, criminals using illegal interrogation, illegal search and seizure, instituting an existence of slavery because it can control any part of the human body down to the square inch with microwaves, which are the same things that your cell phone works with. If you can believe that your cell phone is real and works, you should have no problem believing that remote neural monitoring exists. Because our bodies are an antenna. We're an electrical antenna. Because we all have a field, electromagnetic field. And that field has a specific resonance or frequency. That frequency is able to be determined from satellites that are affixed to military owned equipment using radar to detect your individual frequency. Then with the computer program, they just punch in your number and they dial up a human being. That's how they do it. And you have reception. And you can talk to people in their heads. Sounds crazy, right? It's not. It's been known since 1974. It's called the microwave auditory effect, V2K. The way it happens, sound normally goes in through the ear canal and eventually gets to the inner ear, which is attached to the skull. The vibration of the sound waves creates what we hear. With the microwave auditory effect, what happens is your skull is vibrating with the microwaves so that the sound is heard inside your head. Yeah. It's used in the field. In the Gulf War, it was used to win, and it was advertised on TV, but you never heard about the weapon. It's called the weapon of God because the military pretended to be the god of the enemy and told them to surrender and turn in their weapons. And they did. They got out of their holes in the ground in the desert and they turned themselves in. You guys remember that. Those of you old enough. War against Iraq. I have a fraternity brother, Scott Donaldson, who was supposed to talk with his friend Patrick about V2K. And I figured this is my ticket because somebody will believe me. Scott told me that the military used it, but it was pretty much ineffective and they decided to ditch it. I believe that the private security company contacted Patrick and told him to lie to Scott. So all my fraternity brothers have abandoned me because here said that we were very good friends. We were very close friends at one time. And she also said that she's scared of me. She forgot the end of the sentence. She's scared of me suing her for repeated
So that is it. That's everything. I hope you weren't waiting for too long. Please help spread truth because I speak nothing but truth. And I think if you ask neighbors to watch this video, that they will say that is the truth. Have a good day, and I'm off to Delaware, where I'm out of Frankenstein County, where the police want to do the unthinkable to me. I'm not having it. And as far as this organization goes, that dropped off this card, fuck you. Do you understand? Ask Amanda what I said about Patty Ryan's story about the government visiting her. It's extremely important. I do not ever want this company on my property again. Have a great day. Wait. It didn't go all the way through. It didn't because the video is here. Sorry.
disrupting my life. She had meetings with various neighbors around, and I confronted one because right here, she said to her dog as I petted it, pet it? I don't know, whichever one. Rem's going away for a while. I didn't mention I was going anywhere. A couple days later, sure is shooting. Here comes the sheriff's department with an order. Away I go, forcibly removed from my home. I have explained in tips to the Franklin County Sheriff's Department at least a dozen times that the Columbus police are discriminating against me and are profiling me. They've never responded. There's more to the story, but you can read it all for yourself because I've documented everything from November 22nd, 2018 to the present day because it is still current. The first journal is They Drone Me Crazy, because that's what these people were trying to prove. To get me to move. There were stalking charges brought against me from here. And an agreement was signed, which absolved me from the charges. That same week, a security camera was put up here. You can see the bracket still. And it was aimed here. And here. 9 months it recorded my property 24/7. And I told him many times to please take it down or to aim it elsewhere. And he refused. Hiding behind the agreement to not speak with one another, which was a meeting held with here. I wrote down the license plate of the 4 SUVs that had a 2-day meeting with here. And he was in attendance because he parked right in front of the walkway like a king. When all he had to do was move his fat ass from here to here. It really sucks having to call everybody out because I don't want to do that. But my life has been fucked with. And I'm not having it. Everybody in my neighborhood believes I'm mentally ill. And I'm not. At all. OSU has received an amendment form signed a month, maybe a month and a half ago. And the police blocked me. And I have the 911 recordings from 6 911 calls I made trying to report neighborhood harassment of various kinds of crimes. And the reporting officers, the responding officers, denied me my right to file a report of crime. I was first successful reporting the crimes, at least one of them, which was the imposters, on October 22nd, 2021. The way I got that accomplished was by making a phone call. And I hope that the officer taking the report didn't get in trouble for accepting the report. But they never investigated it, and they turned it into a miscellaneous incident, which means no crime has occurred. The man impersonated a federal officer and told lies about my arrest record and my medical history. To hear. OSU claims drug-induced psychosis. After a number of visits of them not believing me, because I'm sure they contacted the police and said, "What's going on with this?" And the police, not knowing, told the truth. There are no reports of crime or no criminal activity has occurred. They've never investigated on purpose because they don't want me to be successful. So the diagnosis is schizoaffective disorder. So I have gone from 99% of the population for 45 years with a swipe of a brain witch's pen to 1%. It's called a misdiagnosis. But my friends all believe the police who rely on the professionals and what the professionals say while ignoring the crimes neighbors have committed. Call them something else. So, OSU says I suffer from delusions, visual and auditory. The auditory is the microwave auditory effect. And because I am brave and I choose to share about it because it's torture and it is killing me, the field of psychiatry does not accept the truth. It's a trap, it's a government trap to silence people who speak out and share the truth. It's true. I don't know how many countless individuals have been put in this situation, but I'll tell you what, having a misdiagnosis and the truth about the program not being known has affected my life so much. I've lost all of my influence in the world because nobody believes me. I have people calling me a liar when I tell nothing but truth because I think that was also shared as being from the government. If the government knows anything at all about me, they know I'm an honest man.
live now. Hello. Sorry for the delay. I didn't mean to leave you waiting. It's only an hour. And the only thing you've missed is nothing at all. You will hear next about Ryan DeLaw. So I photographed Bill in what looks like the beginning of a swimming pool. He's been busy this morning, uprooting a very large bush. I alerted my neighbors to this, and they have not responded appropriately. They are attempting to save their neighbor who they believe is telling the truth. Bill has lied to the community about me and is believed. It is time people to know the truth, which is exactly what I've written and exactly what you're hearing. Now I'm off to Delaware County, where I feel safe, because government in Franklin County has destroyed my life, believing Patty Ryan. I hope she changes her ways soon. I just made a post on my profile page, which is where you can get all the updates of things that are going on in the moment, because I'm documenting everything, as I have since I got since I became disaffiliated with Coldwell Banker. September 17th, 2019. That summer, there were a number of hospitalizations that happened. They happened like wildfire. And things had kind of calmed down, and I was ready to try and re-engage in work. I had taken the courses for my real estate license, and then I took the test around my birthday and passed on the first try, the state and national exams. I was excited to work for Coldwell Banker because they actually have trainers who teach new people how to be successful. No other company has an exclusively paid individual to train. The people who train are usually the broker or somebody else within the company. And Coldwell Banker, since I have 22 years of teaching experience, I thought it would be a great fit to go ahead and sell some houses for a year or two and then try and get in with the company as a trainer. Kate, who is a friend from the Allen Creek Sailing Association, also works at Coldwell Banker at that branch where Tracy Coe is the manager. And I went in and Kate and I talked, and she said, "Welcome back. We just need you to re-signed some papers. We're so glad. We didn't know what happened to you. Blah, 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 blah. We set the date 4 days in the future. And when I went in, I was told that Kate was not in the office, that Tracy was unavailable. And the trainer said to me that they don't want to affiliate with me anymore. He wouldn't give me a reason why. I have never been let go from any job I've had. And on top of that, there is nothing I have done or am doing that would have caused them to do this. I asked Tracy, she never returned the call. As recently as last fall, and it's documented in my journal page because I screenshot the texts. I said, look, the statute of limitations is over. I can't sue you for wrongful termination of employment. It's very important that I learn why you chose to disaffiliate with me. I sent it to both Tracy and Kate. Neither one replied. I explained lies have been told about me in my neighborhood. And it will be helpful to know who called or who told you something and what they said. They didn't return the call or text. So many people along the way have had the ability to assist and help. Nobody has. I continue on alone, isolated because my friends don't believe me. And part of that is because the police have lied and have not corrected their errors. This is a mess, but I know the case inside and out. I do, because it all happened to me. Each time truth came out. Please share this video because it will save my life. Please help.